Now back to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show, which is presented to you by Power Planter Earth Augers, the official digging tool to find the right size for your digging project. Visit powerplanter.com. Now here are your hosts, Joey and Holly Baird.
Welcome back to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show. It's time for your questions, our answers. The WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, your destination for all things gardening. If you've got a question, you can submit it by emailing us at gardentalkradio@gmail.com. You can also give us a call at 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-SHOW. Let's go up to Minnesota, where Ed is listening to us on 570 WNAX. He's got a question about mulch.
This is Ed here in Worthington, Minnesota. Got a question on cedar sawdust. Is that all right to put around tomato plants, all other plants? Thank you.
Cedar sawdust for mulch around vegetables and other plants, Holly. What's the answer to Ed's question?
Sure. So you can put cedar sawdust around other plants, whether it be flowers, trees, bushes, shrubs, whatever. You can do that. And when it comes to vegetable plants, you do not want to put it around the vegetable plants. It can suck a lot of nitrogen out of the soil, and that could be problematic. So yeah, non-edible plants, you can definitely do, but vegetables, even like fruiting plants, something like, whatever, you don't want to use that cedar sod.
All right, let's go to Val, who is listening to us on WJYI Joy 1340 AM and 98.7 FM in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. She's got a question about pine needles.
Hello, this is Val. I live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I was wondering if it's okay to mulch tomato plants in my raised garden and in my pot. I have two tomatoes in a raised garden and one in a pot on my balcony. And I was wondering if it's okay to mulch them with, I put down newspaper, but that blows away. So I was wondering if I could put pine needles on top of that. Or what would you recommend to keep the mud from splattering on my plants and having them diseased?
Well, she knows that the big key is that prevention of splashing up of the soil with not only the tomatoes but other plants. But yeah.
So you can definitely use pine needles. They're not going to change the acidity of the soil. Once those pine needles, or some people call it pine straw, falls off of the tree, the acidity is no longer a problem.
It dissipates very rapidly.
Right.
Yeah.
And when I talked to Val, I told her that she could put it right over the newspaper, and that would be fine. So,
yeah, good deal on that. We had some other questions come in. If you want to be like Val and Ed and get your question on the air, you can certainly give us a call at 1-800-927-SHOW. Or if you'd like to email us and not give us a call, you can do that at gardentalkradio@gmail.com. Okay, Holly, I'm planning to grow black raspberry plants and one purple raspberry plant, very colorful ones, in containers. Should I get two 25-gallon containers, or would the roots run out of room in a few years in a 25-gallon container?
Well, right. So you can get those 25-gallon per plant. So you want to get two of them. And then sometimes they do create runners, and more plants will be created, and then you can have more plants. So you will be fine with those 25-gallon containers.
Yeah. If you can get a larger container, certainly get a larger container. The bigger the container, the better you are. The half the whiskey barrel, a large, 60-gallon grow bag, something like that. But that's a good start. You can always move them to another container if necessary. Another question here, which is a very unique question about lightning.
The question is, are lightning strikes good for the garden? So I guess if lightning wants to strike down...
We've never had this question.
I know, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
If lightning strikes down in your garden, maybe you should go get some scratch offs that day. But how does it affect your garden?
There is no evidence that lightning strikes have a negative effect on the soil. In fact, lightning is a source of nitrogen for your garden and for the soil. So once the nitrogen ions are carried to the soil by the rain, the nitrogen mineralizes in the soil and it changes into a usable nitrate. So if you want to have lightning strike your garden, there's ways to do such, but I would not advise that. But it's a science question, and I did some research and found out that it is good if your garden does get struck by lightning.
Yeah, science. So another question we have is how to make peppers ripen to red sooner. I like my peppers red, my red peppers red or whatever. How do I get them to ripen sooner?
You can do three different things. You can leave them on the vine, which is the easiest. And it can take an extra 2 or 3 weeks after the full mature green pepper is on the vine. So green pepper is an immature pepper. So if you leave them on the vine, they will change red, yellow, orange colors. Assuming that if you have a purple pepper, that's a different, it'll grow purple. Simply leave it on the vine and it will ripen. You can pick the ripe peppers that are green and you can bring them inside and they will ripen over time in a warm room. We've done that. In the commercial world, they will sometimes gas peppers as well as tomatoes. They'll pick them early, gas them to get them to change color. But the simplest answer would be leave them on the vine. And do not cut the foliage away of the plant because that will cause sunburn and then sun scald on the peppers. But yeah, leave them on the vine. You'll get a multitude of vigorous colors, and you definitely want to eat your vegetables of color because what does it have? Beta carotene in it? Is that
the red ones have a lot of vitamin C?
Vitamin C, and it's just better to do that than the green pepper.
Just eat all sorts of colors. Okay, so then we also have
Casey wants to know: Can you
cut off outer romaine lettuce leaves and leave the middle part to bolt? Will that still flower and produce seeds?
Well, yes and no. As the plant's going to bolt, and we're going to talk about romaine because that's what the question was about. The internal portions of the plant has changed its molecular structure, I guess is the best way to say it, and it becomes more bitter if you was to eat that plant. Now, if you're just going to remove 3 or 4 leaves, that's fine. You're not going to destroy the photosynthesis requirements for that plant to go to seed. However, those leaves will be bitter. And this is the same thing with the romaine lettuce, the green, the red, it doesn't matter. The bitterness, you can't eat these leaves. The bitterness that you get when you chew one of these leaves is from that central stem. So if you cut the leaves off and remove that central vein in the leaf, you can have leaf lettuce or romaine lettuce all summer long without any problem, without it being bitter at all. But if you want to remove a few of the outer leaves, you'll be fine to do such. You just don't want to remove, you can probably get 25, 30% of them and you'll be fine and still let the plant go to seed, save the seeds, replant it next year. And if you can plant these in the fall as well. And we would recommend the purple or burgundy romaine lettuce over the green romaine lettuce. One, because it's got that color variation in it. And in the springtime, it doesn't go to bolt or seed nearly as quick.
So Gail asks, I have bitter crest Harry growing in my asparagus bed and flower garden. What can I use to eliminate this? So one thing you can do is you can certainly remove that by hand.
As you see it come up before it gets out of control.
Before it starts to seed or goes to flower. Another one is you can mulch. Mulching does help suppress weeds and helps do things like suppress the weeds.
Now, disclaimer, when you mulch, that doesn't mean every weed in the world doesn't come up. You will have some weeds.
Right, especially some really
aggressive. But the reduction...
Aggressive thistles, for sure, will definitely pierce
the reduction is incredible how effective that mulch is, yes.
Right. You can also use a what's it called? A weed killer that is not harmful to your asparagus. And what that would be green gobbler
horticultural grade vinegar. You can get the 1 gallon. You can go to Amazon.com and you can search for Green Gobbler. It's we
found it at our local garden center,
and it works. It does a top burn, and then you continue to apply it as needed. But it does work, and it's certified organic, and that's probably the best thing that you can do for those particular flower beds and garden beds. Well, we are out of time, and we certainly thank you for yours. Miss any portion of this show or want to
For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.